Good afternoon.
All right, finally, shit.
Work it, baby.
All right. Future meme coins. Oh my god, do we really have the Emacs gang in here again? Yeah, I guess if we don't have any dog money, we're not gonna make it. Unfortunately. Probably not gonna, if you don't have dog money, you're not gonna make it. I don't make the rules. I don't have any dog money either, so I guess I'm not gonna make it. We back. Sorry for the delay. There's something wrong with my stream key. Whatever. Yeah, I guess to start off, we should maybe we could watch the dog money video. Hold on, let's see. You guys hadn't seen it. It's really funny and really true. All right, let's see here. Hit this pause, and we're gonna go to the desktop background.
Investor, dividend digester, save some of his paycheck just like all his ancestors. Him looking for high yields, that's never the case.
All right.
6% return, slow and steady wins the race. When he checks his accounts just to see what they're fielding, it's like driving in Maryland. Ain't nobody yielding. What is he to do? He shouldn't be in a drought, so he visits his advisor just to sort it all out. Inflation's higher than your bond rate. That's what I was fearing. So your savings account is slowly disappearing.
There we go.
CDs are pointless. That's not very funny. What would you like me to do? Put it all in dog money. Dog money, dog money, dog money, dog money. I'm trading it in for dog money, dog money, dog money, dog money, dog money. I'm putting it all in dog money. My 401k is now a 401k9. The sum of my net worth ain't no longer in a straight line. I'm making.
All right. Enough of that. Fuck's sake. Put it all in dog money, right? That's where we're at. Put it all in dog money. Put it all in dog money. What's crazy, you know, and to be honest, like, I mean, you know, it kind of expected, kind of not. But this is the market we're in. I mean, retail is here. They're buying the biggest dog shit possible. Pretty much dog money broke Ethereum yesterday and the day before. It's crazy because, you know, after the Berlin upgrade, the gas limit on blocks was raised. For those of you that don't know, if you probably do, if you've been watching my streams, Ethereum blocks aren't like, they don't work like Bitcoin blocks. It's not an amount of data that can be crammed into a block with an Ethereum block. It's an amount of gas that can be crammed into a block. So the issue is, you know, when gas prices get high, it just clogs the fucking network up. You know, it costs $300 to unstake in a contract, sometimes more. I think I paid like $600 to unstake something a few days ago. Oh, I don't know why this playlist isn't. There we go. All right. No, so I didn't, and I'll get into that in a little bit. You know, basically I've been dealing with taxes. You know, I started my tax nightmare, at least like getting all my documents and shit in order a couple of months ago. And, hey Green, what's up, man? Hey Bagsy. So the issue here, was that, you know, a lot of people were like, yo, if you go ahead and file your extension by the deadline, right? It's not a late filing. You're penalized at 0.5% per month for whatever amount you owe. So if I can outperform 0.5% per month just being safe, you know, being in stables. I do feel like DeFi is going to take off in a big way still. So I was thinking to myself, you know, like, hey, you know, this is a pretty decent chunk of money. Why don't I do that? But then I started worrying, like, is it worth it? And is that going to make me get audited? Is that sketchy? Is that a red flag? I still haven't really been able to get a straight answer on that. You know, it differs depending on who you ask. And, you know, I've had a really, really good experience with token tax. I've told you guys this before. I've not been paid to say this. I actually paid them normal price for everything. But I did want to kind of document my experience with them. They actually got in touch with me after I tweeted, and they cleared some things up. And basically, if you underpay, you know, if you do anything weird like that, it doesn't increase your probability of an audit. But if you do get audited, which, you know, if you make like 50K or less a year, like the probability of you getting audited is like next to fucking nothing. If you're not self-employed, if you're a W-2 employee and you don't make that much money, the probability of you getting audited is like next to nothing. But we've all made pretty good money. You know, hopefully you guys have put yourself in a position to where maybe you will get audited. So I do advise everybody to, you know, to take this seriously. It'd be a damn shame, you know, after how far we've come to end up losing money. Yeah, the tax code is intentionally vague, which is fucking bullshit. You know, it really just is a pain in the ass. So what I'm going to do, you know, there's a couple of methods for filing, right? There's FIFO, LIFO. Token tax has something which they call minimization. At the end of the day, here's the thing. It's all just a matter of timing, is the way it was explained to me. You know, whether you choose FIFO, LIFO, or, you know, their minimization algorithm if you use them, or somebody else's method of minimizing if you use them. The taxes are gonna get paid. They've actually told me over the past 3 weeks, ever since Biden's, you know, trying to push this new tax shit, that a lot of people have been switching to FIFO, you know, to go ahead and pay while we're under the lower rates, you know, pay a larger chunk of what's due. So I did decide I was going to go with their minimization algorithm. I had originally planned for FIFO, and because of that, I had withdrawn a little bit more money than was actually owed to the tax man based on their algorithm. So I took the excess and I FOMO'd into Rook. Will you get taxed on dog money? Yes, you will. Dog money is taxable. Dog money is unfortunately taxable just like real money, if not more taxable. Anyway, taxes suck. Pay your fucking taxes. You know, here's the thing. You know, if you have made a shit ton of money and you get audited, you're just gonna have to hire a tax attorney, and you're gonna have to do it that way. But it is going to be Bros mode. If you post your Twitter handle here, I'll unblock you. I was just. Like when people shill things like under my random posts, like, and it looks like a robot, I block it. So you probably looked like a robot shilling something. Japan 0% tax on Bitcoin. It is interesting. You know, a lot of people, a lot of countries, you know, are reducing cryptocurrency tax rates and stuff. You know, they want this new money, this, you know, these innovators to move into their country. But anyway, pay your taxes. You know, just pay your taxes. Do your best. If you do get audited, you need to be able to show these guys. You need to be able to show these guys that you at least like made a really good effort. Yeah, I've been training. I have. We're working on it. It's going well. You know, right now I'm focusing on strength training and heavy cardio. You know, at the amateur boxing level, I've been told, at least by a lot of boxers, that it's mainly a cardio gains or a cardio game. And then, you know, I find out too, Andre, a couple of his ex-friends, you know, said that he lied about his height and weight. But I still am training like he is a 6'5", 215-pound monster. I don't know why he lied about that shit. Yeah, run. I'm doing hit on the Stairmaster. I mean, I'm going to show up extremely conditioned. And actually, you know, I did have a wrestling background, but I was a state champion cyclist, you know, which is very cardio intensive. And I won the state championships. I didn't win just the normal races. I won it in the crit, and I also won it on the hill climb. You know, which are very, very cardio intensive. I cycled for about 5 or 6 years too. You know, I did centuries, things like that. I had a couple of really, really bad accidents. I'm not going to be juicing up, but I probably am going to get on some SARMs and stuff ahead of time. Probably some S4 and some Carterine. Am I a software developer? No, but I do have a computer science degree, and I've written a lot of code in Python, you know, mostly data science. Data science is my programming background, not software development. It's really difficult to do software dev in Python. Python's great for scripting and things like that. The GUIs. I don't like RAD 140. I've run RAD before, and it didn't. I was a non-responder. I've run Carterine before. Carterine's good. You know, of course, there's some research that suggests Carterine has links to cancer, so that's always sketch. And I've also run Osterine. Osterine was good as well, but Osterine, the strange thing is Osterine shut me down really hard. Like, I had to run a full PCT on that. No, I don't trade futures or anything like that. Yeah, I might get on TRT or something like that. But yeah, we'll see. Osta's good. I'll give you guys another review. Look, here's another thing I've been told. You know, if Andre really is 215, don't show up at 215. A lot of people have told me to show up at maybe like 195 to 200 and lean as fuck and just in mean cardio shape. So I'm fast, I'm agile. You know, it's not like my height's gonna change. I didn't lie about my height. I'm 6 foot flat. Unfortunately, 6 foot is like kind of tall guy, but you know, you're not really in the tall guy club. You're just kind of normal tall guy. Yeah, TRT, you know, I am 31. I need to get my levels checked and stuff like that. I mean, I still fuck every day, you know, if I can. And, you know, I still get boners and shit, but, you know, I'm 31. I'm going to be 32 this year. So we'll see. I don't have any issues, you know, like bulking up or anything like that. But we'll see. I mean, strength training though, you know, powerlifting, we're gonna do, you know, cleans, squats, deadlifts, you know, really work on pressing strength, you know, get the rear delts really built up, get the chest really built up, get the shoulders really built up. Oh yeah, sorry guys, I didn't turn the music down from when we were watching Dog Money. That's my bad. The music is too damn loud. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing sprinting, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I've also been advised, at least publicly, to keep most of my training private. So as I do make progress and things like that, you know, I'm still interviewing boxing coaches. I've been to a couple of local studios. I like one guy that I spoke with. It's kind of a weird situation to explain, to be honest. Hey, so I'm fighting this fucking dude who stole money from a lot of people. And I'm kind of a big deal on a niche crypto Twitter community. So here's the thing, it's not an MMA fight, it's boxing. And Andre said his background's MMA. So I think this actually puts us on pretty even grounds, you know? Fuck yeah, I'm gonna fight in Dubai. If he shows up. I highly doubt he's gonna show up though, because, you know, I just doubt that. It's boxing. Here's the thing, you know, boxing, I'm gonna train my butt off. He's not gonna take me seriously, and hopefully I show up and kick his ass. And you know, right now we got $1 million going to charity. If he shows up, and I would imagine we can raise more around that. So here's the thing, I mean, even if I do show up and I get rugged, I get my ass kicked, like, you know, there's $1 million going to charity, and I'm not gonna just show up pussy. I'm not gonna show up like Ben Askren, like out of shape and shit. I'm gonna show up like fucking built. Now Andre, he is taller than me. You know, I've been told he's not 6'5", but he's probably maybe 6'2". We'll see. But, you know, appreciate the support. You guys root for me. You know, hopefully we can make it happen. All right, market cycles. Let's talk about what we're all here for. I don't want to just talk about this bullshit the whole time. Market cycles, I definitely think that we're entering, at least for shitcoins, you know, the thrill euphoria leg. One thing that is scary about this, you know, we do have absolute dog shit pumping. Dog money is the theme of the week. Everything dog is pumping. I don't have any dog exposure. You know, I guess I've been shoved like ledger status from the right side of the curve to the middle of the curve, and now I'm just an idiot. Yeah, there's some good stable yield options. And now, you know, you can actually stable yield farm. Aave is yield farming again. I decided not to do any of that though. I'm just going to pay my taxes, pay my estimate. You know, it ended up being a couple 100,000 less than I thought it was going to be. So I just took the excess and I shoved it in a rook. No, I'm pretty much have like all DeFi exposure. Look, DeFi is going to pump again. It's not a matter of if, but when. You know, does it suck waiting, especially when other things are pumping and you're like not in the rotation? You know, it definitely does. But, you know, it just is what it is. I'm a bag holder, I'm a professional bag holder. I've got good bags. I think Rook's still mega undervalued. Yeah, this Roman Modelo is saying he put $100 in a Kishu and now it's worth over 3K. It's just crazy shit. Here's the thing, Omar, like these TikTokers and people like these apes love these low cap coins. I honestly wish all this low cap shit would go back to Binance Smart Chain, you know, just because they're more able to handle that kind of load. You know, we had like 10 dog coins that just ruined Ethereum over the past couple of days. Yeah, we'll charge Bitcoin SV, we'll charge BCH. I don't have any ADA and ZIL. Here's the thing, the Ethereum killers already ran. If you look at any Ethereum killer, you know, whether that's ADA, Solana, like all that shit versus Ethereum, Ethereum's really, you know, taking the stage. And in the past, at least, you know, Ethereum being the center of attention bleeds into Ethereum DeFi. So we'll see, you know, maybe the future holds that as well. Like I said, though, I've got good bags. I'm not worried. We'll just see what happens. I hold enough Ethereum for gas. So I try to hold, you know, like maybe 10 Ethereum or something like that. Is stable farming a viable option in a bear market? If you can find fixed yields, yeah. You know, and there's a couple fixed rate yield options out there. You know, maybe we can explore those on a future episode, like 88 MPH, things like that. You know, I do anticipate that in a bear market, you know, of course, yields will decrease because demand will decrease as well. You know, because people aren't going to be borrowing and lending as much. Just less activity, less yield, you know, less demand. How strong are institutional hands? Maybe strong, maybe not. I don't fucking know. I'm not an institution. So, probably the wrong person to ask. Who knows? I really don't know. I really don't know. I do think that we are entering like a thrill euphoria stage of this altcoin market. You know, one good thing, the last coins to catch a bid in this kind of rotation typically pump really hard, really fast. I mean, the big question here though is, are these people that are getting rich on dog shit and dog money and all this stuff, like, are they going to rotate into basically whatever's pumping, or are they going to continue to buy dog shit and end up rugging themselves, giving back all their gains and shit like that? Wow, Coinbase overtook TikTok as the #1 app. I mean, guys, this retail surge is beyond 2017. I've never seen anything like this. This honestly makes 2017 look like child's play. Like it's unbelievable. I'm not a believer in the super cycle, like I've said before. You know, as far as I'm concerned, I've been in crypto for a long time, and when these cycles happen, they always retrace. You know, altcoins are going to retrace 90%, Bitcoin's going to retrace 70, 80%. Maybe not. I don't fucking know. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this time is different as a meme, but sometimes it is different, and there are certainly like smarter people than me that think that this time is different, and there's definitely signs, you know, there's evidence to back what they're saying up. Here's the thing, I did want to talk about opportunity costs really quick, you know, because I definitely didn't rotate from DeFi to literal shit in February, and that would have been the move, you know, to maximize my gains. You know, I didn't rotate to Ethereum. You know, I got my Ethereum exposure through Ethereum-based DeFi. Very few people are going to time these rotations perfectly. You know, a lot of people that made money on dog shit missed out on that DeFi rotation from January to February. You know, a lot of people in literal dog shit right now are going to miss out on a rotation, or they already missed out on the rotation at Ethereum. They're going to miss out on a rotation at DeFi. You know, a lot of the Solana shit, of course, has been performing really, really well. But if you charge Solana versus Ethereum, you know, it's wrecked. Recently, you know, it was the move. You were the highest IQ person out there if you timed that and you were in Solana and those Solana projects. But that's not what's moving now. You know, Ethereum is moving now. Well, here's the crazy thing. In DeFi Summer, you know, I've got a little group with some buddies, and I was talking to them, and I had, you know, way more Ethereum value than I have now, which is always, it sucks seeing that. But I still remember I was a couple hundred Ethereum away from my goal, and I was just like, when I hit this number, I'm just going to be an Ethereum maximalist. And if I had done that, I would have like 3 times as much money as I have right now, which is really unfortunate. It is what it is, though. Don't beat yourself up over these rotations, because like I said, there's very few people out there that rotate perfectly, you know, that are able to rotate, that time this. You know, I've never been great at rotating, but I am great at bag holding. In my past, you know, I've never played really big dog shit. I typically migrate towards the, you know, the higher IQ projects, the Galaxy Brain projects. And in my experience, that ends up doing pretty well eventually. You know, if you have strong enough hands to hold, you know, your Galaxy Brain plays typically moon, especially with, you know, institutional money coming in. There's definitely institutional money interested in Ethereum. I think these guys are interested in Ethereum-based DeFi too. So if we catch that bid, you know, what we could see happen in DeFi could be fucking insane. Like I've said earlier, though, I'm going to take, you know, 2-3x from here. There's 2 scenarios that I see it. You know, we're going to have a big rotation of Bitcoin after all this altcoin shit is all said and done. Lawmaster, if you guys follow him on Twitter, was commenting that, you know, Michael Saylor had this big Bitcoin conference or whatever, I think in February, and it takes these institutions 3 to 6 months to get everything in place, have those board meetings, etc., you know, to get these Bitcoin buys set up, you know, get those TWAP algos on. So there's very, very possibly, you know, one reality, okay, because I'm definitely a believer in like multiverse theory, parallel universes, you know, everything that can happen does happen and will happen. In one reality, you know, we're witnessing the top right now. We're seeing dog shit going crazy. You know, Bitcoin has lost momentum. Eventually the house of cards comes falling down. You know, we're going to be entering a bear market soon. But in another reality, you know, the cycle is still going to persist. That's the reality that I truly believe in. I don't know if I'm right about that or not, but I do think that we're going to see another big rotation of Bitcoin. You know, my target for Bitcoin is like $130,000. I think at 130, somewhere in that region, you know, we've overshot stock to flow at 100. People are going to be they're going to start saying dumb shit like 200, 250, 500. You know, these Bitcoin maxis, they're not going to fucking sell. Like, who are we kidding? Yeah, it could be rolling hills down. You know, and I talked about this in the previous stream. You know, I've been looking at the yearly volume weighted average price. We'll take another look at that today in just a moment when we look at some DeFi charts. That's what we're primarily going to be looking at today. Because I'm a strong believer that, you know, DeFi, Ethereum DeFi is going to catch a bid, and it's going to catch a bid hard. We're already seeing evidence of that. There are outliers. You know, we're seeing things like YFI, which has been called the Bitcoin of DeFi, catching a bid, and it's just been a rocket ship. I mean, that shit just is going vertical. The liquidity isn't great, at least on DEX for YFI, which is surprising. Because I actually thought about buying it a couple days ago, and when I went to go buy, it was going to be like 10% slippage in my order, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like, that was using an aggregator. I was using 1inch. But, you know, it's either like this is top right now, or we've got, you know, EIP 1559 is in July. We're going to have fuckery probably through some point in June. We're going to see a rotation to Bitcoin. We're going to get 2-3x on Bitcoin. Maybe shitcoins go crazy with Bitcoin towards the end again. Maybe they don't. I just don't know. And that's the thing with these unknowns out there. I'm in the more of like in the mentality of like, you know, and this is even something that a lot of people don't recommend. Don't trade your number in your portfolio, trade the market. But at the same time, I'm trading the market with my portfolio number in mind, knowing that there are certain levels that if I hit, it would just be silly to not walk away, you know, because I've changed my life, and past that point, it's diminishing returns. So there's no need to continue to be exposed to the risk, even if it meant another 50% for me, because the amount of utility that I got from that extra 50% isn't worth the risk of being exposed to the market to actually get that extra 50%. So I'm a believer that we've got more legs. This market has legs. You know, we'll go to Bitcoin eventually. So my plan though is after I make a lot of money, fingers crossed, on Ethereum DeFi, and I would imagine that that's sometime after May 17th. That's the tax deadline. You know, we saw DeFi catch a bid the first time around. And a lot of the Ethereum DeFi guys, I feel like, are kind of boomer, like pay your taxes, do this, do that. So maybe this is why that is. That's total speculation though. But, you know, Ethereum DeFi caught a bid early January after people were done tax loss harvesting. So the theory is this time is right now, we're not going to catch a bid until people are done being forced to sell their holdings to pay their, you know, 2020 taxes. I had to sell my MTA bag, which, you know, I've been fucking bag holding. The opportunity cost on that bag is just stupid. I literally bought, I think, 800 Ethereum worth of that, around like $9 or $10. It ended up being one of the worst trades of my life. When you take the opportunity cost or when you factor that into the equation. But I've had a lot of winners. I really can't complain. I've done pretty well. You know, I'm very blessed to be where I am. So at the end of the day, you can't, you know, cry over spilled milk. You can't cry over spilled milk. You just gotta keep pushing forward. You know, keep your finger on the pulse of the market, and continue to place your bets accordingly and expose to, you know, what you want to expose to. I don't know. I think I ended up walking 2x with Hxro or something like that. I sold Hxro publicly. You know, I sold MTA publicly. I'll always be transparent with you guys about what I'm doing. But let's take a look. And I've got to move this YouTube window over because the comments. Okay. Oh, grab the wrong one. Where's this? Here we go. Little messy inception there. And we're going to go back to background removal on NVIDIA broadcast, and we are in business. So this is something I've talked about in the past. And what I have over on the right, it is a paid indicator, and you get it if you have a TradingView Pro subscription. I think Pro is the minimum level to get it. But I talked about when Rook was down here, how the VPVR had a bimodal distribution, okay? And all that means is that, you know, what we're seeing right here is a bimodal distribution. It's not an even bimodal distribution, but there's a gap in the volume profile on Rook Perp. And as you can see right now, we are filling this gap. And I do expect this gap to be filled. And I would expect this VPVR to look something more like this, you know, by the time this is ready to launch. And this is called a unimodal distribution. And all that means is that, you know, we have this distribution where there's just one node, right? Right here, there's definitely two distinct nodes on this. So when is Rook going to launch? You have to be looking at this, and you have to be waiting for this bimodal distribution to correct itself. And when this becomes more unimodal, then I would expect that we're ready to send. Now, what we have on here is a VWAP, this yearly VWAP, which is something I've been talking about. Which, you know, I've been playing around with VWAP for a while, but TradingView added standard deviation bands to the VWAP a couple of maybe a month ago. And those standard deviation bands, coupled with the VWAP, when you anchor the VWAP to the year, have been absolutely god tier. And you can see this right here with Rook. Yes, unimodal distribution is a rocket pad. Bimodal distribution needs more time. We're going to fill the gap. You know, basically right here, what we're doing is we're shaking some more people out. You know, people are accumulating in here. We're evening out this distribution. I'm sure there's a more high IQ explanation of, you know, why this is, but it tends to be just the way things are. So looking at this, you know, here's this white line is the VWAP, and these are the standard deviation bands. This represents one standard deviation. This is that yellow line. The green line represents two standard deviations. And you can see right now that the Rook price and also this gap, okay, this volume weighted average price is right in the middle of here. So I would expect Rook, you know, like I showed right here, to kind of oscillate in this area and piss some more people off before we can launch and explore some upside. I mean, unit bias could, you know, maybe is a thing, but at the same time, when you look at something like YFI, and it's the strongest DeFi player right now, and YFI is fucking, you know, on the moon. Yeah, so if you go to indicators and you just type in VWAP, it's this VWAP under built-in. And here, I'll just do this. So you go to indicators, you type in VWAP, click VWAP under built-ins, and when it shows up, it's going to look shitty, okay? And that's really not actionable, you know, unless you're a day trader and you're trading lower time frames or whatever. I typically try to look at, you know, the daily chart and higher, you know, unless I really want to get into structure or look at something up close. But then I can come into this VWAP, and what I like to do is I like to make this middle line, the VWAP, a little bit thicker. I make it white so it shows up a little bit more. And then under inputs, what you're going to want to do is change the anchor period from session to year. Okay, and then there's one more thing you have to do. You have to turn on these bands too. So just click the check boxes by that. But you can see here that one standard deviation from the VWAP was the top, right? One standard deviation from the VWAP was the top. What was the ultimate buy signal? When we started coming down here and touching two standard deviations down from the VWAP. Once again, one standard deviation from the VWAP was the top. What was the absolute bottom, you know, when we had that leverage washout just a day or two ago? Right here, one standard deviation below the VWAP, that yearly VWAP. So if you're gonna have any indicator, you know, support, resistance, doesn't matter how fancy you wanna get, you know, the VWAP is a fantastic indicator for a number of reasons. So let's come take a look at a couple of things. So right here we have, you know, Ethereum, and you can see once again we've got this yearly VWAP on the chart. And the VWAP ended up being a god tier buy signal right here, right here, right here, and then also, look, right here. And now we're just above. When you're above this 2 standard deviations, like that's just straight on, like full throttle bull market, like fucking crazy. You can't find the PVR indicator on TradingView because you have to have the TradingView Pro subscription minimum to do that. Okay, but you can see here, yeah, you got to pay for it, and it is worth it because, you know, the way I've got a grandfathered in like premium subscription, and it's got like 8 charts and shit like that. They keep trying to get me to upgrade, but I'm not fucking dumb. I'm not gonna be doing that. You can see that, you know, this VWAP indicator, and we've been using BitMEX because it's the most reliable. Oh, not gonna be. Here we go. Holy fuck. But this VWAP indicator has been god tier on Bitcoin for a really long time. If you go to XBT USD, I found that to be the most accurate. You can see, you know, right here, every dip was 2 standard deviations from the VWAP, and things changed. You know, even right here, we closed above it, you know, consolidated right here a little bit, and then we went down to dump. But the absolute best buy was right here on that VWAP. And, you know, you can go back and actually back test this for a long time, and there's several instances where this VWAP acted as just an absolute god tier entry, and then of course above this VWAP is, you know, hey, we're in a bubble, it's hit the gas mode. But even dating back to 2017, you know, we can see here that this indicator has just been absolutely fucking crazy. I mean, look at this, you know, that spike up right here in October of 2019. 1 standard deviation from the yearly VWAP. You know, we consolidated right here, and this VWAP acted as resistance. You know, 1 standard deviation below the VWAP, and there's your buy signals, right? It's really good, and think about it almost like the GAN fan. You know, it's support and resistance. Okay. This is back, you know, in 2017. And we can see here that, you know, people have used all sorts of different MAs and, you know, things like that. But all you had to have on your chart was this yearly VWAP. The exact bottom here in July, the exact bottom again in September. The bull market's getting a little bit more heated up. We're accelerating. And now 1 standard deviation from the VWAP ended up being, you know, the spot to buy. And now you can see right here, you know, above the VWAP is bullish, below the VWAP is bearish. And you can see right here that, you know, we've gone below the VWAP right here. And these areas, you know, become resistance. And you can see, I mean, every time. Exactly. It's crazy. It, you know, it acts like a, it's like a magnet almost. So boom, you know, boom, boom, boom. But anyway, you know, enough on that. That was just to prove a point. You know, this VWAP has been an absolutely amazing tool. Now, a lot of the VWAPs on Binance are all fucked up. I would imagine that's because some of their volume is fake. You know, it just is what it is. So Solana, for example, you know, if we check out Solana on Binance with this yearly anchored VWAP, you can see that we're just way above the VWAP. I mean, that really doesn't give us much actionable intel here. And of course, you know, really, really nice bounce on Solana today. But if you look at Solana, and this is why I encourage you, you know, to pull up pairs on different exchanges, find one where the VWAP has a really good fit, and where the VWAP does appear to be actionable. So if we actually look at Solana USD on FTX, and I've actually got this marked out right here, you can see very clearly that the VWAP ended up being a really, really good buy signal when we touched it, or got close to touching it almost every time. So if, you know, Solana did pull back, which I'm not quite sure if it's likely or not, you know, the market is so bullish right now. You know, maybe this is the buy right here. This is 1 standard deviation above the VWAP. It is really interesting. If you look right here, You know, we did dip below the VWAP, and that ended up being a really good buy, like right here on right on the VWAP. But this dip quickly reversed, and you can see that this candle right here, actually right above that 1 standard deviation level. And then these dips too. Look, these wicks are just, you know, coming straight down to that 1 standard deviation level. Right now, I think it'd be super bullish if we had this close on the daily above 1 standard deviation. Solana does have a hackathon coming up. I'm going to be a judge on that. I highly doubt that we're going to see Solana doing bearish shit into that hackathon. So we will see. Yeah, we'll look at the VWAP for Link. We're going to look at it for a lot of things. But yeah, we can check out Link next. And I've got it pulled up on Bitfinex. Link's been here for a while. But look at this. Once again, yearly anchored VWAP. Okay. You know, 2 standard deviations there acting as resistance. The VWAP itself acting as support. 2 standard deviations below the absolute low right here on this move. But you can see here, you know, it's very clearly God tier. Compound, one of the stronger movers. We've actually got a really good GAN fan on this as well. That's been doing a fantastic job. You know, I think what we're seeing on Compound right now, it could be pretty similar to this. I would, you know, anticipate we see $1,000 comp. You know, this would be the target right here. But once again, you know, look at the exact places that this bounces, you know, and we can just do away with all that. You know, it really is just crazy, you know, when you look at it. We're just going to kind of look at some of the blue chip shit. Now, Aave, I'm very bullish on Aave here for a couple of reasons. You know, it does potentially look double toppy, right? You can see that, and that there's clear resistance right here. You know, but if I were to draw the diagonal on this, it's kind of difficult to do, to be honest. But I think this is applicable, you know, just because it's a parallel channel, and you can clearly see this kind of support resistance flip here. So we're going to draw one line right here. We're going to draw one line right here. Very bull flag-ish. But once again, you know, these VWAP levels, God tier. Where's the exact bottom? Right there in the VWAP. Where's the exact top? You know, right here at 2 standard deviations. Where did we bounce? 1 standard deviation. You know, once again, the VWAP was the bottom. The VWAP was the bottom. You know, the VWAP was the top. And we got above this VWAP, you know, which puts us into, you know, expansion territory, hyperbull, right? But we dumped back below it. You know, we had this leverage washout. What acted as support here? 1 standard deviation from the VWAP. And now we are actually reclaiming this breakdown, which is super interesting. Yeah, Cope does look very bullish. So let's check out some more shit, okay? SNX, also considered DeFi blue chip. I would argue it's one of the weaker offerings, just based on the structure of the chart. But SNX, much like Aave, does appear to be kind of flagging. You know, it's in some kind of flag structure. Here we are, you know, testing this. 2 standard deviations below the VWAP was the absolute bottom. You know, we had resistance here, support here. You know, I'm looking for this to break out, flagpole target. We apply it to the location of the potential break, maybe around $40 for SNX. Yeah, we'll check out Maker. Maker has been holding up fantastically well. You know, Maker has fantastic token economics now. But even looking at this, you know, you can see here, once again, boom, boom, boom. And now we're way above this VWAP, extremely overextended potentially. But what an amazing run, you know, for Maker. YFI. Absolute rocket ship. And I do think that, you know, seeing things like YFI lead the way here. And you can see here, you know, we broke out, swing failure, that was a fake out, you know, came back down, found support down here, 1 standard deviation from the VWAP. We eventually closed above this trend line, and now we're just in rocket ship mode. This thing is an absolute price discovery. I would imagine YFI goes to 100K. I'd say minimum. But here's the thing. Oh, DeFi isn't going to pump my unit bias characteristics, blah, blah, blah. We look at every fucking DeFi chart, and then we see YFI, the Bitcoin of DeFi, the blue chip of the blue chips when it comes to DeFi, doing this. It does make you wonder. Now, I'm going to actually apply random tasks chaos levels to this, just to show you, what a potential target could be. That first chaos level is at about $115,000. There's not a good GAN fan for this. That's why I am using these chaos fibs. 115, 116,000 bucks for YFI wouldn't surprise me. And then the second level is right there at 185. Like I said earlier, this isn't the most liquid coin, at least on DEX. Maybe it is on exchange. But yeah, YFI front runs DeFi alt seasons. It did in DeFi summer. I think YFI doing what it's doing right now is extremely bullish for Ethereum-based DeFi. So stay tuned on that. It doesn't matter. The kind of money that's doing this to YFI is not concerned about $300 gas. Now let's take a look at Sushi. Now Sushi also blue chip DeFi, right? Or at least it's been named blue chip DeFi. Of course, the launch of Uniswap v3 was pretty disappointing by a lot of standards. We'll have to see if capital efficiency is a valid meme or a valid narrative moving forward. I'm not quite sure if it is or if it isn't. But just looking at Sushi, a lot of this blue chip DeFi has the same structure, and that's these flag structures. Now, some of them, admittedly are further on in their, market cycle than others. But with Sushi here, in my opinion, this is, clean flag, break. We've got a throwback here, so we've retested this breakout, and now I think we can move to the upside. But once again, VWAP looking really good. Guys, we are going to chart all the DeFi, okay? Let's see, 0x USDT. Once again, look at this. How insane is that, though? I mean, every fucking time. And I wish I'd known about this earlier, just because it is so god tier. Many people think that ZRX is extremely undervalued. 0x is an absolute godfather of DeFi. One of the issues with the ZRX is just the actual, amount of revenue it makes, the value accrual to the token. I don't think that it's as good as some other things. Yeah, dog money doesn't care about capital efficiency. And here's the thing, Dexes have been so successful because it allows anybody to be a liquidity provider. That's why there's so much liquidity on Sushi, on Bancor, on Uniswap v2. Uniswap v3 is more like institutional facing. And I do think that that's why Uni, or people haven't really reacted favorably to it. Because as a liquidity provider, I can provide liquidity on Bancor. I can get impermanent loss protection, I can make yield, and I just don't have to worry about it. It's set and forget. But on Uniswap v3, I've got to get in and I've got to configure a custom curve and, do this and that. Yes, YFI was a first mover last summer. Just something to think about. It is interesting. I am wondering. Uni has actually been extremely strong in terms of DeFi blue chips, and you can see right here. Once again, another fake out right here. This is the Uni v3 launch. Sell the news. But Uni extremely bullish. It's been above this 2 standard deviation level, and that's been the place to buy the dip. Almost every time. You can see it's just been hugging that. But it does make me wonder, are we going to see some other things catch a bid because Uni v3 is just unattractive to the kinds of people that are in DeFi right now? Do I still have faith in Meta long term? I mean, as much faith as I ever had. When it came time to cut a bag to pay my taxes, it was really just like a matter of looking at what I had and being like, okay, structurally Meta's the weakest position that I had. The original plan was I'm just going to bag hold Meta till it pumps. And I wasn't thinking about taxes or anything like that. And then it turned out I owed a lot of money and I had to get the money somewhere. But I am wondering if we are going to see some rotation from this uni money over to other places just because the value accrual is so bad. Or right now, are we just in a market where it doesn't fucking matter? Uni's got the most brand share and things like that, so uni's going to pump. Look at BNT. I do think that BNT is still in for a serious re-rate. So we can see right here, you know, on BNT, VWAP God tier once again. You know, I'll get really excited about BNT when we manage to get outside 2 standard deviations again. You know, the last time we were able to do that, that's when we saw this upside here. BNT has got a very similar structure to Aave, to Synthetics, to Uni, or not to Uni, to Sushi. If anything, it looks the most like Sushi. You know, where we've got this flag structure, we've got a breakout, we've got a throwback, and a strong bounce. We already charted Aave, dude. So I think you can rewind just a little bit. Yeah, let's check out Phantom. Now, Phantom, Ethereum killer, right? Once again, look at this. The perfect bottom. It's crazy how it works out like that. It was the resistance right here, too. Definitely a little bit of bearish divergence right here in a bull market. Bearish divergence doesn't really mean much normally. Phantom, Ethereum killer. It's an EVM chain, so I can basically, you know, it's basically like Binance Smart Chain. How about that? And it's very fast and very cheap. There are a lot of like emerging DeFi projects on Phantom, and there's a good bridge for Phantom as well. So I'm not quite sure if EVM, you know, if Ethereum killers still have a bid left to catch. We'll see. Internet computer, I don't know about that. There's really not a lot of chart history on that, so it's difficult to look at just in the context that we're looking at these things. Yeah, we'll look at take a look at Thor. Like I said, we're trying to chart like all the at least bluish chip things. Thor is rune. I mean, this is fucking ridiculous. Retrospect's a bitch, isn't it, guys? That's what I was saying earlier. You really can't beat yourself up about this shit. You know, it's very difficult to pick the one that does this. And from that November low, it's fucking 5,000%, which is pretty fucking insane. But still, we're really overextended here. I mean, this is a huge bearish divergence, but at the same time, like, we're in a mega bull market. Thor just could be fundamentally undervalued, so I don't know what the market cap or anything on that is. FTT here, still very strong. BNB, still very strong. Here's the VWAP right here. You can see right here, you know, boom, boom. We are 2 standard deviations above the VWAP at this moment. It does look ripe for continuation. You know, these exchange coins, there's a lot of value accrual to them. You know, these exchanges are seeing record volumes, so there's a lot of fees, there's a lot of burns, things like that. We'll look at AVAX. AVAX, another EVM compatible chain. I'm not saying that's particularly bullish. Once again, I don't think Ethereum killers are really the move right here. You know, I think Ethereum killers, for the most part, you know, ran earlier in the year, and they ran way harder than expected. We'll check out ADA. Here's ADA perp. ADA, absolute monster, of course. You know, once again, whoop, and there. So ADA, you know, can it push above the upper end of the VWAP? You know, the ADA certainly has favorable unit bias characteristics. You got guys like Gene Simmons and other, you know, low IQs shilling ADA. But hey, they were right. I mean, look at this shit. It's been one of the strongest performers this year. And two, I mean, if you've been in ADA, there just hasn't been that much pain that you've experienced. Now, one thing about ADA that is really interesting is we do have this support resistance flip right here. and it does appear to be primed for further upside. So maybe this ends up looking like uni and we get a swing failure right here. But, you know, for now, you just have to trade what's in front of you. You know, you can't trade narratives and things like that. So just is what it is. Check out Ren. You know, of course, Ren went to 0, lols. Why? I'm not quite sure. I think it had something to do with leverage, duh. But we're right here. We're bouncing on this middle VWAP. You know, for Ren, the most valid structure I think we can draw on it is this. You know, Ren had massive FOMO around here, and this was around the time when the news was that not FTX, but Alameda Research had acquired Ren, whatever the fuck that means. So for Ren, I'm really looking for a break above this channel. I do think that there's better looking setups out there, but I do think that a lot of people are sleeping on Ren. Yes, there's a community chat for Hxro Labs. We actually have a Discord now. I think there's around 4,000 members in that Discord. The Discord is far superior to our Telegram. Do I plan on buying back MTA anytime soon? The answer to that is no. And the reason is, it's not because I don't like it. It's not because I don't think meta assets are never going to catch a bid. It's more just a factor of I'm in what I'm in for my last hurrah, for my final rotation. I'm not trying to be greedy here. I'm not playing musical chairs. You know, I'm going to get a few X's on these bags and I'm going to sell them. I'm going to have some Bitcoin. I'm going to have some stables. You know, I've talked about before, when enough is enough. I know what enough is. You know, I'll get a few X's here and that's enough for me. You know, and hopefully a final, you know, 50% to 2x on Bitcoin. We'll see, but even then, I'm not going to have full exposure to Bitcoin. You know, one interesting thing I might even do is I might use an AMM, and I might go like 50% Bitcoin, 50% stables, and add that as a liquidity pair to Uniswap, and just have that liquidity position be my portfolio and let impermanent loss, you know, take profit for me on the way up. And also hope, you know, mitigate my losses if Bitcoin does dump. You know, I won't be as exposed to that. It's just something to consider. And, you know, if I end up doing that, you know, maybe I even supply it as liquidity on UniV3 in a ratio of 70-30 or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. The invite is invalid. Okay, if you guys will look at my Twitter right now, I will post I'll post a link to the Discord. Now, what is cool about this Discord is that we have a Hxro Ape bot that monitors your activity, and if you reach a certain level on this Discord, we're gonna edit. Expire never, no limit. And if you do reach a certain level, we have a special research request channel you can join. All right, let's see. So we do have a special research request channel. It takes 2 or 3 days to do enough posting to get to this level. But you can go in there, and if you ever want something charted, maybe you're not the best at charting your TA, or maybe I've got features, you know, in my TradingView account that you don't have, you could just request that, and I'll do my best. I'll try to get to it. I can't post the link in chat because it deletes it. So I've just posted the link in chat right now, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't show up for you guys. It is on my Twitter, though. If you go look at my Twitter, you'll be able to see it there. Now, I am in 3 things now. Okay, I'm very concentrated. BNT, which looks absolutely fantastic. We've got that break of the flag and to the upside. I'm also in Rook. Okay. And this is really fucking annoying because it's... I swear I made a new template and I don't think it saved it. Whatever. I am in Rook. Rook is my fundamental play. I've got Rook pulled up on Nansen right now. There's a lot of new players in Rook that have come in. You know, this guy has been in Rook 21 days. You know, this guy, I believe, has been there. But a lot of new, larger wallets on Rook, you know, that have shown up. And of course, you've got guys in, you know, in Rook that have been here for a while that are continuing to hold. My hope is that, you know, Rook can catch a bid. You know, Bancor, I'd love a 2 to a 3x. I'd be happy as fuck with the 2x. But I do think that it could re-rate a lot harder than that. Look, Bancor's on Coinbase, and that's favorable, you know, bias characteristics. It sounds cool, Bancor, right? It just depends on how strong this retail bid ends up hitting. You know, and Rook, right here, keep your DAO. I'm really, really looking for a 4 to 5x at this point out of this. It's just a $240 million market cap, you know, a huge treasury, and they're doing something totally unique. You know, it's a Galaxy Brain play. And then I also have my MPH still, which was suggested to me by CMS intern months and months ago. And I've gotten 2 sets of trend lines drawn on this. One using the wick method and another using the body method. And you can see here, at least in my opinion, you know, this is a pretty obvious pennant. I mean, this shit has literally been going sideways now, which, you know, for me, that's going to be either accumulation or distribution. In this market climate, I would imagine that's accumulation. But we have literally 3 months of sideways on MPH. MPH V3 is just around the corner. I expect the TVL to go up a lot. There's not a lot out there in terms of fixed rate bonds, zero coupon bonds, structured products yet. So we'll see what happens with that. But MPH, I would be expecting a 5x out of minimum as well. But my BNT, a lot of liquidity there, right? And then, you know, 2x to 3x would be fantastic. For Rook, you know, 3 to 5x, and MPH, I'm looking for maybe 4x plus, I'd say. Yeah, holding MPH has been painful just because the opportunity cost. Like I said earlier, it's kind of been a stable coin-ish. You know, this range is a lot bigger than you think because I've got it set on logarithmic. You know, if you look at regular though, this just looks like an absolute launch pad for a gigasend. So I wish I could put VPVR and MPH USD. I wish it was traded somewhere on a perp. Yeah, I will juice everywhere too. Not a really good candidate for a GAN fan, but if you like Random Task, you follow his shit using his chaos levels. We've got the first level at $520 and the second level at $892. If this catches a bid, I can certainly see it doing that. You know, one of the really interesting things about MPH is it is a very low market cap, you know, amongst the other things that I'm in. If CoinGecko decides that it wants to load, $50 million market cap, and this shit has over $20 million worth of liquidity, which makes it a really attractive play if you are trading with size. You know, you want something with upside potential to shove a few 100K in, that you're not going to slip a ton when you sell. This looks really nice. Of course, Rook, fundamentally, we have so much on the table coming for May, June, you know, July. We have K Compound. We have potentially things like K-Ave, K-Maker, you know, and other things like that that are very easy to do after K Compound is launched. We have the coordination game. We have a reduction in emissions. I mean, the token economics are going to be great. We already have a lot of Rook locked up on Bancor, but when the coordination game comes out, I would imagine that we're going to see a lot of that Rook staked. I mean, if you just look at, you know, the holders for Rook, there's so much Rook, you know, 6,000 here, 6,000 here, 5,000 here, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 2,000. There's so much Rook here that's just not doing anything. And I would imagine when the coordination game comes out, which is supposed to be pretty soon, that's going to bring value accrual to the Rook token, native value accrual, a use case for Rook, utility for Rook, and that will be are really interesting to watch play out. When's the new UI UX going out? I'm not 100% sure. How do you get that from random tasks, the custom fib? You don't. You know, if you actually just add a fib to your chart, you can come in on the fib retracement. If you go to the settings, the chaos levels are 4.667, and I'll type this in chat. And 8.77. And how he actually does this is, you know, what you can do is take, you know, a high and a low, like these, for example, okay? And here's another perspective on this. You know, this is definitely like a fake out right here. It's just been ranging, right, between 172 and 90. And it's been doing this for 3 months. But, you know, you could do the chaos levels for like this, for example. And then those targets would be 680 and 1,200. I mean, wouldn't that be something? I think, in my opinion, you'd be hard-pressed to find a chart that's more favorable than this. In my opinion, this just does look really, really, really good. Would I recommend staking Rook no matter what your bag size is? I posted the chaos levels in chat, and yeah, it may be 4.669 or whatever. I might have mistyped that, but kind of the same. Yeah, it's the high and low of a consolidation, though. So, you know, I could take this and this, you know, and draw chaos levels there. I could draw that to that and draw chaos levels there, and you can see that there, you know, we do have confluence in these zones. I believe I'm doing this correctly. I have been using this or incorporating this into my trading just because, you know, for price exploration, it's very difficult to come up with targets. But for me, you know, like the GAN fan is my preferred method, but it's not always applicable. It's not always a perfect fit. For example, let's try to draw a GAN fan on MPH right here. And this actually fits pretty well. Go to a little bit lower time frame. And sometimes on these Uniswap coins too, I found that if you draw the GAN on the line chart, so draw it on candle bodies, it ends up being a bit more accurate, you know, just because of liquidity and things like that. You know, the wicks aren't always good anchor points like they are on a centralized exchange. So here's our GAN fan on, you know, on MPH, you know, and our GAN target here, if we were to return to this 2/1 line, you know, would be somewhere around 400 to 500 bucks, depending on when that target was hit. And then the next level on that, of course, if this went crazy parabolic, would be somewhere in the $800 range. It is interesting to see that kind of confluence, you know, and we are looking at something like a chaos level. You know, it can give you a little perspective, and sometimes I even use confluence like this to potentially time, you know, the when this is possible. So, like, looking at this, you know, sometime in early June, you know, we have contact right here with this second chaos level, and we have early July at 521. Contact with this chaos level. Now, I do think that these are, you know, the only valid points of contact. I don't think that this season is going to extend into, you know, October, November, whatever this is out here, etc. And the reason for that is I still do believe pretty firmly that EIP 1559 is going to be the top. Yeah, we'll check out perp. Look, I don't want to get into too many, like, you know, lower cap like shit coins. And honestly, it's difficult to make much of this. You know, there are some similar DeFi charts. This has just been ranging. I don't think that these decentralized derivatives have really caught a bid yet. Although I don't know why that's not a valid narrative. You know, you really think it would be. We'll try to throw a GAN on this one too, just to see what it looks like. reasonably clean here. But you know, once again, it's not the strongest looking chart, but when you look at the fundamentals here, it is a $170 million market cap. So, you know, how many X's does it have left in it? I think it really is a matter of how many people are using it, you know, the trading volume of this, you know, et cetera, et cetera. There is a lot of supply that's not in circulation. And I will say this, like Rook, that's like my mid cap play, right? And I'd consider this kind of mid cap as well. You know, that's $200 to $500 million cap. There with Rook, there's not much in terms of competition. Now you do have things like Alchemist, you know, which is an MEV exchange, you know, that I think a launch is imminent on that. I was actually looking into some on-chain analytics, and there's people that bought this shit like a couple of, or 3-4 months ago, and their, you know, 2 or 3 Ethereum now is worth like $4 million, which I don't really like buying shit that other people have made that much money on. It's just kind of a rule of mine. Hxro DAO, of course, you know, is another offering. Hxro DAO, not very liquid, you know, which is one of my main gripes with this. And also, you know, a lot of these coins that have partnered with Sushi don't seem to have been doing very well. Although, you know, this is done pretty well. You know, I'd be interested because Arch has their own MEV DEX now. But there's other things similar to Arch, like Tai Chi Network, to where, you know, you basically interact with a private mempool, you know, and that makes it impossible to front run and stuff like that. Now, the advantage Keeper DAO as an MEV solution offers over these is, you know, if I use Arch or whatever, yeah, I'm not getting front run. Yeah, I'm not getting sandwich attacked. But, you know, if there is an arbitrage, you know, on my order, I don't get that money, you know, somebody else does. You know, with Keeper DAO, not only do I get that protection from sandwich, front running, etc., I also get protection, or I also get the MEV. You know, if there's an arbitrage opportunity, and here's how limit orders work in DeFi. If I set a sell order on Ethereum for $1,000, you know, I basically said that I'm willing, that's an arbitrage opportunity that I broadcast, okay, to a 0x relayer. And I basically said that I'm willing to sell my Ethereum for $1,000. So all of a sudden, you know, Ethereum's now at 1,500, right? Or 1,050. And there's a keeper out there that goes, yeah, I'll fill you for $1,000. You know, and he buys Ethereum, and he, you know, sells it to you, or you know, he fills your bid and he gives you the cash, you know, for your $1,000 ask, and he gets to keep the difference there. Now with Keeper DAO, that difference is forwarded to the user, you know, so it's game theory optimal to use Keeper DAO because it's more positive EV. You know, you get more money when you trade, you get better prices when you're liquidated, you're less likely to be liquidated, etc., etc. Those kinds of things. Now, I would chart Alchemist. All right, let's see if I can do this here. But the actual fucking symbol for it is all wacky. It's difficult to find. So let's hold on. I'm gonna go to Sushi Swap. I think that's where it is. Or you know what? It's not. It's on Uniswap. And this is just so fucking annoying. It makes it really, really hard to chart. The symbol match the criteria. Let's try it on ChartX. Yeah, it's the emoji. Here we go. Invalid symbol. Symbol doesn't exist. Yeah, it does. What are you talking about? I haven't been at Dex Tools in so long. Let's try it on Dex Tools, because I can actually use the contract here. Wow, this website's come a long way. I don't think I've used Dex Tools since DeFi summer. If it'll ever load. So Jack Alfonso says, if he wants to invest in Rook or MPH because I want my bag to be concentrated, which one should I pick right now? I can't really tell you that, man. You know, I can tell you what I'm in. I can tell you why I'm in what I'm in. But at the same time, you know, I have picked stinkers before. You know, it just is what it is. Oh, I'm searching on the wrong thing on Uni. Here's the thing. I mean, I think that I've got BNT, MPH, and Rook. I think that at least one of those is going to pump. But, you know, what if only one of them does? And I was like, oh, yeah, this is definitely the one you should put your money on. And that's like, happens to be the one that doesn't, you know? Okay, so maybe I think I need the pair address, which I can get right here. What a pain in the ass, man. It's just making it so fucking hard to chart this shit. I'm going to refresh this. Of course, Dex Tools is being slow as fuck right now, and it's not working. Yeah, but even then, you know, MPH is 3x. You know, 3 to 4x from when I first got in. Oh, it's got server issues at the moment? Okay, well, you know what I can actually do? I can actually just do that and go direct to the pair. Let's see if it actually loads. It might not. Moon Tools. All right, let's check out Moon Tools. All right. Here we go. Appreciate the Moon Tools suggestion. This is another way to get exposed to MEV. But once again, I mean, look at this shit. Put it on Snap. From the bottom to where it's at right now, this is up 50,000%. 50,000%. That's it's pretty incredible. You're buying somebody else's 500x. This is a way to get exposed to MEV. This is somebody else's 500x from February. Yeah, the market cap on this is quite high. Yeah, this is mainly just what I wanted to demonstrate. Here's the thing. I mean, MEV is a huge narrative. You know, these MEV coins, I think all of them are going to moon. You know, we've seen a huge moon on Alchemist. There's not many ways to get exposed to MEV upside. You know, you've got Mist, which is a fucking emoji for the ticker for some reason. You know, I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but it just makes it a pain in the ass. We've also got Archer, DAO, which, you know, if we look at the market cap, it's very low cap. So, you know, if I was looking for something that was maybe super low cap, Gem, a DAO Gem, you know, this may be a good option right here. If MEV pumps as a narrative, like all the MEV shit's gonna pump, right? You know, so I definitely think that we could see good upside on this. But once again, the issue with Arch is there's solutions without a token, like Tai Chi Network, that do the same thing Arch does. Yeah, can't sell if you can't chart it. Yeah, Alchemist is Flashbot's exchange. Definitely some big galaxy brains behind that. But here's the thing, Rook Keeper DAO is in close contact with Flashbots, and the same caliber of people that work on Flashbots are the same developers for Keeper DAO. There may be more gems too. I mean, if anybody else knows any gems, there's also a B protocol. Let me see if. Here we go. B Pro. Let's see if we can chart B Pro yet. Which you can actually farm B Pro right now. B Pro is very similar to what's coming with Keeper DAO right now with K Compound. But basically, you lock in your shit and they're, either Maker or Compound. It looks like they have Aave coming soon. And you mine. They're liquidity mining B Pro right now. One complaint I have heard, apparently there's like one guy that owns like 25% of it, but B Pro I'd say is the closest competitor to Keeper DAO. But this is another option for you, if you want exposure, if you think the MEV is going to be a big narrative, which I definitely, that's why I've gone so heavy on Rook. Like, I'm super high conviction, like I really believe in it. Do you guys know of any other MEV plays? Hey, thank you, Senior Webster. I appreciate you. Hoping I'm doing well. B Pro, very low market cap though. I don't know if this shit is actually circulating right now. Yeah, here we go. B Pro. I will say, B Pro is inflating like mad right now. So you're buying into just massive inflation conditions. I mean, for me, this is kind of more of a money grab. It's a way for them to monetize their work. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm not 100% sure if it's investable. I got in Kitten a while ago, and it did look interesting. It did look Galaxy Brain, but it's very low cap, so it'd be difficult for me to talk about it on stream. That's why, even though I bought Kitten a while ago and I sold it eventually, I didn't ever really mention it publicly. Stake DAO uses Archer. Well, the reason I didn't mention it publicly is just because it is super low cap, and I could be totally wrong. Like I said, I was only wow, Pussy Coin is the number 10 trending coin on Moon-Tools. Moon-Tools is pretty sick. Thanks for that recommendation. No, if you guys are on our Discord, we actually, or I talked about buying Y-Axis at $16, and then I recommended selling it at, I think, 78. So we literally bought the bottom, sold the top. It could be time to rotate back into it. Maybe not. The reason I suggested selling it is because it was up 4 or 5x, depending on when you got in. And when you have an early runner like that in DeFi, you can make huge gains by selling it, foregoing future upside on that one thing, and compounding, rotating into something else. Other MEV shit that anybody knows of? People were talking about inverse finance. INV looks pretty low cap. Because I really didn't want to. Look, if Ethereum-based DeFi pumps, like, all this low cap shit is gonna pump. That does look really good. I will say this though, before you just go aping in like a psychopath, the liquidity on inverse is very low relative to the market cap. Maybe they have liquidity on Sushi as well. Why don't they have Sushi Swap on here? I'm gonna check out Sushi. Bao, I looked at Bao a couple days ago, and it doesn't look very good. We'll take one more look at it here in just a second. So okay, inverse is on sushi. Let's check out the liquidity. Yeah, it's very. Here's the thing. I mean, inverse is a $30 million cap, but it's got like $2 million worth of liquidity. So I mean, if you're a smaller player, you know, this might be really attractive for you, just because, you know, these low liquidity coins, it takes a couple of big apes getting in, and, you know, it's to the moon. But for a larger player, you know, somebody might get in with 20, 30 Ethereum, and you know, they'd fucking move the price up here. It'd be absolutely fucking crazy. Bow is going to be the last thing we're going to look at, guys, because I do have to go to the gym today, and I've got to walk the dog again. Bitch didn't poop the first time, and I walked her a whole mile, and she's been... So, I don't know what her deal is. She's probably constipated or some shit. So here's Bow. I mean, look, guys, you know, Bow was like such an incredible buy, you know, back early January. Went 5,000%. Just to put that in perspective, when we looked at Mist, you know, Alchemist, the Flashpots token, Mist pumped just as hard as Bow. You know, that's 50,000% right there. Mist pumped harder than Bow. Mist after it dumped is at 50,000%, which is pretty fucking nuts. Just in terms of any kind of structure, you know, it does look like we have horizontal support here. I know Bow, I think, is very similar to Synthetics. And it's certainly in an area that would be an interesting buy, you know, if you wanted to speculate on this. But, and the liquidity isn't that bad either. Let's look at the market cap. Yeah, number 500. $60 million cap. So I'm not up to date, you know, with their developments and stuff. I will say this for Ethereum-based DeFi. If you looked at things like Y-axis, news catalysts right now are everything. News catalysts are huge. You know, that's one reason I can be super bullish about Keeper DAO and 88 MPH in the coming months. Is because there's just news catalysts out the yazoo. You know, people are reacting to these news catalysts now. So if Bow has some good news catalysts and you're a big believer in it, you know, it may be a good buy, you know, down here in this region, you know, close to 0.0007 or whatever. Missed all-time low was 63 USD. A lot of good plays. You know, here's the thing. Right now, we're definitely like in thrill euphoria in the market cycle. Keep that in mind. Don't be too greedy with your rotations. You know, give what the market gives you. If you have to rotate, make a rotation or two. You know, why do I think EIP 1559 is a sell the news event? Because most of this shit is sell the news. I think EIP 1559 is the ultimate sell the news event. You know, if you look at Uni V3, you know, what was it? Sell the news. I will say, though, that Ethereum does have multiple bullish news catalysts for 2021. We also have the launch of the Ethereum proof of stake. I can't remember exactly what they're calling it. But I have yeah, this could be the media part of the Ethereum cycle. I mean, to be honest, guys, I'm looking at Ethereum at $4,000 and it's super fucking strong. And I mean, is Ethereum going to flip Bitcoin this cycle? I mean, maybe. It's fucking crazy right now. For me, it just feels like this shit is getting really overheated, and you know, I don't want to be the guy that doesn't have a fucking chair to sit in when the music stops. Yeah, KP3R. Now KP3R is going to play a huge role in DaraSwap, you know, which is an Andre thing. KP3R actually does look very bullish here, and it's got decent liquidity, not great. But check this out. I mean, I'd say that's a buy. 100%. I don't think KP3R is MEV related. You know, it's keepers, okay? But keepers do more than just to, you know, deal with MEV, arbitrage, things like that, right? You know, another thing that keepers do, and in this context with KP3R is cron jobs for DeFi. A cron job is just an automatic task. It's something that's been scheduled. So you can actually go and you know, set it up with KP3R and have these guys carry out you know, rebases and other things like that. Do you not think there's opportunity in sidechain DeFi Ponzi's on Phantom? I definitely do, but I'm not playing those opportunities just because, you know, I'm the liquidity, you know, and I'm not trying to rotate a bunch and play musical chairs and all that. I'm just kind of in what I'm in. I'm going to ride it out. I've got conviction. You know, that's really the primary reason there. But B is, you know, EVM, that's Ethereum virtual machine, you know, compatible, Ethereum killers, sidechains, you know, whatever you want to fucking call them. I do think that market is a bit oversaturated. You know, when I look at things like, you know, Binance Smart Chain was brilliant because CZ realized that people just didn't give a fuck about decentralization. They just wanted a casino and they wanted ape. And he knew that that wasn't possible on Ethereum anymore. And that's why Binance Smart Chain was a thing. And Binance Smart Chain was hugely successful because, you know, the network effects of Binance. Binance said, hey, we got $100 million. Come apply for a grant. You build on Binance Smart Chain. You know, we'll pay you. We'll take care of your costs, your funds, you know, all that kind of shit. And the network effects really can't be discounted. You know, people wanted to ape, and hey, you know, if you got into Binance Smart Chain, when I got in and you didn't sell like a bitch like me, then, you know, you probably outperformed me by a substantial amount. KP3R, yeah, does look really, really good. And it's decently liquid. And I would imagine that there is more liquidity on Sushi, too. You know, if we go look at these Sushi analytics, let's check this out. Motherfucker. The dashboard. Yeah, here we go. So 600 Ethereum of Sushi on Uniswap. There's another, you know, $7.5 million in liquidity on Sushi. If you are aping in this with any kind of size, I would recommend using, actually more, 14. You just divide it in two. It only shows one sided up there. I definitely recommend using an aggregator like Matcha or whatever. Why do you not cash out in USD at the end? USDC. That's exactly what I said I was going to do earlier in the stream. I was going to be cashing out into stable coins and Bitcoin, and in some ratio, and you know, I might use an AMM platform, you know, to mute my upside and downside on that, and have that exposure to Bitcoin's upside, you know, and that way. Or if it does have downside, to have, you know, more minimal exposure to that downside, you know, maybe use that to average down on Bitcoin as well. I think that could be a really interesting strategy, but we'll discuss that in the future. You know, when it comes down to that. Do you think that venturing into this meme culture is worth taking the risk? It could be if you're working with a smaller portfolio, but at the same time, you know, these meme coins aren't going to be pumping forever. It's just something to think about. You know, eventually all the juice is squeezed. And I feel like meme coins have been pumping like fucking crazy for, you know, a few weeks to a month now, if not longer, if you take into account Binance Smart Chain. Maybe they just keep pumping forever. Who fucking knows? I don't. But like I said, I don't want to be the guy that goes, okay, fine, I'll go get into meme coins, and then all of a sudden I'm like, fuck, you know, like I'm the last guy in, you know. I feel like the guys that got in the meme coin revolution, you know, a couple months back are the guys that are really killing it right now. You know, are they going to continue to be the one killing it? I don't know. You know, I think time will tell. But that is it for Shitcoin Church, guys. You know, we've been going for about an hour and a half. What's the right way to find meme coins? I couldn't tell you, bro. Honestly, if it's a dog coin, probably just buy it. I mean, I made the joke on Twitter yesterday. I need to start sniffing paint thinner. I'm not like super high IQ. I would imagine I'm probably like 130. You know, smart, but not genius by any means. But that's really kind of been to my detriment recently. You know, Ledger Status has been joking about how, you know, we're middle of the curve now, which is definitely how I feel. You know, seeing all these guys make millions in dog money, and I'm fucking getting owned over here. Not getting owned, but, you know, really just the amount of money I have right now is the same amount of money, more or less, that I've had for the past like 3 months, and that just sucks in this environment when everybody, you know, everybody and their neighbor are just getting rich as fuck. Look at Badger. You know, Badger's an old friend. So take a look at that. I will say that the TVL on Badger has exploded by about 400 million recently, because they partnered with YFI to create a new Bitcoin vault. One of the biggest challenges with Badger, and I've discussed this before, is that Badger needs to transcend just being a farm token. What is a farm token? Well, Badger is just yield, essentially. They are working on doing that, you know, and I do have faith that they can do that. Here's another perspective. So here's one thing, right? You've got this trend line, very clear, you know, support resistance flip. This is almost kind of like a median trend line, if you want to think of it that way. And then we've got this as well, you know. So is Badger flagging? Maybe, you know, but Badger does have some definite resistance overhead, and you know, Badger's got to get out their claws, and they've got to have an actual utility for the token and value accrual to the Badger token. You know, those are in DeFi. TVL is important, but the most important thing is that value accrual to the token. You know, these protocols have to be doing things like that. Yeah, right now for sure, the more meme coins you have, the higher IQ you are, which it's funny. It just is. It is what it is. And you know what? I hate to say it, but like, that's how it was last cycle too. You know, dog shit pumped. The high IQ shit, you know, seemingly didn't pump forever. I mean, Decred was very high IQ at the time. That was like my big play. And I watched a lot of people make money and me not make money for a while. Then eventually Decred went fucking insane. You know, Arter was high IQ too. So it's just one of those things to where like all the high IQ shit I've ever bought and held my entire life, like eventually it pumps really hard, but can you stand the pain? You know, can you make it through it? I think in this kind of market, eventually everything ends up pumping, but the real question is, you know, do you end up outperforming the index, or you just get, you know, take the average of what the market gives you? Of course, the aim is to outperform the market, but at the same time, even if you perform equivalent to the market or even underperform it a little bit, you're probably still walking away pretty well. And maybe that's just what ends up happening here. I'm not going to complain either way, because like I said earlier, it's you know, I feel like I've been very blessed, you know, this cycle, and you know, I'm going to try to, you know, give back as much as I can, and you know, help people out and things like that. We'll just have to see what happens. Yeah, the index is just not that bad when the index is performing as well as it is. But anyway, guys, thanks a bunch for coming. Remember, we've got DeltaFi tomorrow. I tweeted out that link to the Hxro Labs Discord. Make sure you're in there. I've got a messy charts channel where every single day I literally try to give, you know, like 10 to 12 analyses, chart updates, you know, and on DeFi. That's what I'm covering. If you are a Hxro Ape, you know, if you've been posting in our Discord for a little bit, you can get in that research request channel. And in that research request channel, you know, if you want to say, you know, hey, Messi, can you chart BAO, or can you chart this or that? You know, I'm happy to do that. Or hey, you know, maybe you don't have a Nansen Pro and you want me to look at something on Nansen Pro or something like that. I can look at those things for you as well. But that's it, boys and girls. Maybe, probably not, but maybe. Thanks so much for coming. Remember, we have DeltaFi. It's going to be me, Rob, Dan, and Random Tasks tomorrow at I think 2 p.m. CST. Let me double check on that. Let's see. DeltaFi tomorrow is it's scheduled for 3 p.m. CST now. We bumped it back an hour. I love DeltaFi. I think you guys will enjoy DeltaFi too. My wife needs a girlfriend. Nah. Look, I'm not gonna judge anybody, you know, like to each their own, of course. I just think that's a little weird. Like, even I almost think I'd be jealous, you know? Like, we've got a great relationship, like why do you want to bring somebody else in? You know, even if it was a girl, you know, and that meant extra pussy for me or whatever, I think that hurt my feelings. I think. You know, I don't fucking know. That's just not how I was raised. I was raised in the South, you know, in the U.S. and you know, we don't do that shit. I am, you know, I voted Biden. I'm a Democrat. I'm leaning Democrat. How about that? If I thought that the Republican candidate was the lesser of evils, I would have voted Republican. I'm not really party affiliated. I vote for who's better. I voted for Obama too, because I thought Obama was better than the alternative. But anyway, guys, join that Discord. I really do think you'll enjoy it, especially if you were in the trading pit earlier on. It's like the trading pit, but way more organized, way more information. We've got yield farming channels, NFT channels, DeFi, Solana, all that shit's in there. So until next